Welcome to Gold Series release number 3. I'm your host, Nelson Fu. This release introduces a new origin to the Rosso coffee menu. It's Ecuador. Ecuador is an interesting origin as it's just south of Colombia, but it isn't as well known for coffee. Ecuador is said to be the origin of the Sidra varietal, but also Typica Mejorado. So for this release, we have La Florida Rosso Washed Typica Mejorado. Initially, when I saw this coffee as a sample, I said, we have to buy this lot, just on the name alone. But after tasting the lot, we definitely had to buy it. Now, Typica Mejorado was in the coffee world news actually, just recently. The World Coffee Research Institute said that Typica Mejorado is actually not what we think. So how I understood this before was that Typica Mejorado was basically a super Typica, where a selection of really great Typica plants are crossed with other really great Typica plants, and then they are cross-pollinated or pollinated together to create super Typica, basically. But in the new research, it says that Typica Mejorado isn't even Typica, it's actually Bourbon cross-pollinated with Ethiopia landrace. The Rosso washed process gets its name from the color of the cherries or the coffee beans after the 2 stages of fermentation. The process starts with whole cherries sealed in a tank for an anaerobic environment, and the fermentation juice from previous fermentations, they call this mosto, that's added into the tanks and then sealed. And then after the fermentation is done, I think it's 36 hours, it's pulped and then it's back into the tanks and fermented again. All this anaerobic fermentation creates lactic acid, and this is what gives an incredibly creamy, heavy tactile, where in traditionally washed coffees, you'll find that lighter weight that's almost tea-like in mouthfeel. So today's brew, we're going with the classic V60 here, and I'm still using the Kinto paper. I have 20 grams of coffee. This is ground on a medium setting. And we're gonna be using 300 grams of 92-degree water. This brew recipe is quite simple. It's my go-to recipe as I brew new coffees. It starts with a bloom of 60 grams. So start in the middle and pour slowly outwards until you hit 60 grams. So just do the small, slow circles until you hit the edge and you'll hit 60. Then we wait about a minute, and then at 1 minute, we're gonna pour up to 200 grams. So you can see at 1 minute, it's barely dripping out. So that's how we know it's time to do the next pour. Again, start in the middle, very slow circles outwards, and we're gonna go all the way to 200 grams. And then our final pour will come at 130, and then we go all the way to 300. Again, in the middle, slow circles out. Until we hit 300. Now this is actually quite a fast brew. It should finish around 2:30, and boy is it delicious. This brew highlights the sweet tropical flavors like the pineapple and tangerine, little star fruit, while the process of this coffee is more responsible for this heavier mouthfeel. This is just about finished here. Get my cup. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Nelson Fu, and I hope to see you in Rosso release number 4.